What's going on, everybody? My name is Josh Barbara. Today is Monday, June 15th, and for the first time in 53 years, the New York Knicks are your NBA champions. We're going to break that down here today on this edition of the Barbs Breakdown. As you can pretty clearly see, nothing on the docket. There is no docket. There are no talking points necessarily. This is just me speaking from the heart as to what this means for not only, the team, the city, but also myself and what it means to me personally, because as many Knicks fans my age, this team has been terrible and a laughingstock for the majority of my lifetime. And to be able to see, like, I get emotional thinking about it now, to be able to experience the Knicks ending a 53-year drought with my dad, the man that made me a fan of the team, the man that used to sit in the blue seats at Madison Square Garden and watch Clyde and watch, Willis Reed and Bernard King and then Pat Ewing and then John Starks and then Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell and Jamal Crawford and Stephon Marbury and all of these guys that laid the groundwork for this team. He was there to witness it, and so to be able to share what happened on Saturday night with him was not arguably, it was the best moment of my life as a sports fan, because this is a team where year in and year out, it was forever next year. The best part of our year, and I mentioned this in a previous episode, the best part of our year used to be Summer League and the draft lottery and the draft itself and who are we going to get, and do we think that we could convince this free agent to come to New York? New York is the biggest market in the nation, and teams would refuse to come here and take a chance on coming to the New York Knicks because they thought that it was career suicide. That's what this team used to embody. That's what the franchise used to embody. It wasn't cool to be a Knicks fan. It was not at all. I used to get made fun of. I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. The majority of the fans here are Celtics fans. I'm in Boston territory. And I used to get made fun of for being a Knicks fan. And now to see this and to see this team, it brings back so many memories and a lifetime of heartbreak, heartache, and struggles just all washed away in an instant when Wemby missed that shot. OG got the rebound and chucked that ball into the stands because, man, I mean, it was just the emotions that flowed out were second to none. Greatest feeling in the world probably was witnessing what I witnessed on Saturday. And as I mentioned, being able to share it with the man that made me a fan of sports in general, not just this team, was hands down the greatest moment of my life as a sports fan. And really the greatest moment probably of my life so far. I continue with this. Like we went from, as a franchise, missing out on LeBron in 2010, to Melo not living up to his expectations, refusing to do what Brunson did and taking a pay cut so, the franchise could build around him as the franchise player, to then watching a starting five that consisted of Langston Galloway, Alexei Shved, Andrea Bargnani, Lou Amundsen, and Lance Thomas, and then in the other years where it was Noah Vonleh, Damian Dotson, Kevin Knox, Courtney Lee, and Emmanuel Mudiay, Aaron Aflalo, Kyle O'Quinn, Steve Novak with the discount double check. The list goes on and on of all of the players that came through and laid the groundwork for this, and the misery and the heartbreak that the team and the franchise and the fans felt. Everything led up to this moment on Saturday night when Jalen Brunson took the lead for the Knicks, when OG Anunoby sunk that free throw to give the Knicks a 4-point lead with 8 seconds remaining, to see Victor Wembanyama miss that three-pointer at the end of the game, Mitchell Robinson with arguably the clutchest offensive rebound in Knicks history. All of that, every single time that they broke my heart, and every single time that they broke the fans' hearts throughout the years, whether it was missing out on the Zion sweepstakes, which in hindsight's 2020, that might have saved the franchise, considering we traded RJ Barrett for OG Anunoby, to then missing out on KD and Kyrie, to then miss out on the Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes, and then missing out on the Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes forced us to sign the team's and the franchise and the city's savior in Jalen Brunson. And it all changed when Leon Rose took over. It all changed when Leon Rose took over. Leon Rose took over a 21-win Knicks team in March of 2020 after the season got cut short due to COVID. He fired David Fizdale, hired Tom Thibodeau in July of 2020. He traded for Emmanuel Quickley on draft day in 2020. The Knicks then made the playoffs in 2021 for the first time since 2013. He signed Julius Randle to an extension after that 2021 season. It was a 4-year, $110 million extension after an All-NBA season that helped lead the Knicks back to the playoffs. The team then missed the playoffs in 2022, but as I mentioned, that led to the greatest signing, the greatest free agency signing in NBA history, as Jalen Brunson in July of 2022 signed a 4-year, $110 million contract with the New York Knicks. In the 4 years since his signing, Brunson has made 3 All-Star teams, 3 All-NBA teams, finished 5th in MVP voting in the 2023-2024 season, won the NBA title, won 8 playoff series, won Finals MVP, already ranks 17th in Knicks points in the history of the franchise, and is the 3rd all-time playoff leading scorer for the New York Knicks in 4 years. The Knicks, after signing Jalen Brunson in July of 2022, during the 2023 season, traded Cam Reddish and a first-round pick for Josh Hart. And this is still when people believed in Cam Reddish, believed that he could possibly be something. It ended up being so that he wasn't. But that moment right there, when the Knicks got Josh Hart, and everybody knows the famous video of Jalen Brunson going crazy at Villanova, realizing what this meant possibly for the team, and knew the player, because Brunson knew the player that the Knicks were getting, even if the fan base didn't know. They knew that they were going to get a guy that brought toughness, defense, and the energy needed, and the ability to hold his teammates accountable. The team has said it. Leon Rose himself has said it. Mike Brown has said it. Even Tom Thibodeau, when he was still the head coach, said it. That Josh Hart is the heart, with no pun intended, of this team. From there, in the summer of 2023, the Nova Knicks were formed. Dante DiVincenzo was signed to a 4-year, $46 million contract. He obviously hit that massive game winner with the Mike Breen double bang in Game 2 of the first round against the Sixers that season. But let's take it back a little bit before that to December 30th of 2023, when Leon Rose traded RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, along with other assets, for OG Anunoby to the Toronto Raptors. I was in the gym working out when this happened. I will never forget where I was. Was I upset that Emmanuel Quickley was traded? Yes. Was I upset that RJ Barrett was traded? Absolutely. Those are 2 guys that laid the foundation for this modern iteration of the Knicks under Leon Rose. It cannot be overstated how much Leon Rose means to this team, this city, and this franchise. He's a former player agent. He built this team based off of how well the players would play with each other. He didn't care about putting a super team together. He cared about putting a team together that would play as one unit and go out there to win a championship. He went out there to put a team together that would put all of their egos aside in order to for the singular goal of ending a drought that was 50 plus years in the making. So December 30th, 2023, OG Anunoby becomes a New York Knick. On that same day, Leon Rose extended Deuce McBride 3 years, $13 million, which ended up being an absolute steal considering the way Deuce McBride has played since then and the way that he played throughout the playoffs. Did he have the best finals? Absolutely not. He did not have a good finals series at all. But then again, the entirety of the team didn't have a good finals series, which we will get into. I'm not going to sit here and say that the New York Knicks were this amazing team in the NBA Finals, because they weren't. All 4 of their wins were comeback wins. It's not like they were the most dominant team. But I also, you can't say that the Spurs dominated because they choked away every single game that they lost. I digress. Let's continue here. So after signing Deuce McBride to that extension in July of 2024, after the New York Knicks were bounced in the second round by the Indiana Pacers in 7 games, Leon Rose went out, and he took a massive swing. The Knicks had a ton of draft capital. Leon Rose said, "Fuck them picks." Mikal Bridges, you're officially a New York Knick. 5 first-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets, who have done nothing with those picks, mind you, for Mikal Bridges. He is the newest addition to the Nova Knicks. In July of 2024, you now have Bridges, Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo. That is until 2 weeks before the 2024 regular season is set to tip off. Leon Rose and co. made a blockbuster trade that many fans and analysts said was a loss for the Knicks at the time when they sent Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns. He took a gamble on Cat's ceiling as a shooter and a defender, and it has paid off tenfold. Karl Anthony Towns has developed into the player that everybody thought he was going to be when he first entered the league. He is now able to command a presence in the paint while simultaneously distributing the ball from the top of the key because he is a constant shooting threat from beyond the arc. He had a 40-50-90 shooting split through the entirety of the playoffs. Or 50-40-90 shooting split throughout the entirety of these playoffs. It's just every single player at some moment on this Knicks team this year stepped up throughout the entire season, whether it was Tyler Kolek saving Christmas in the NBA Cup, whether it was Ariel Huck-Porty, who had to come in when Karl Anthony Towns was on the bench and just give the best minutes that he could. You knew he wasn't going to be the best guy out there on that court. You knew that he wasn't going to be in the game for long, but he held his ground the best that he could and made some great plays. Whether it was Jordan Clarkson, my favorite story of any bench player on this Knicks team is the fact that Jordan Clarkson, during his offseason workouts, didn't do a warm-up routine. He went straight from the car and went straight to practice. No warm-up, no stretch, because in his own words, he wouldn't have time to do that if he's coming off of the bench. He would have to be ready immediately. So he treated that every single day. He treated his offseason like he was coming off of the bench every single day in order to prepare for this type of run. The guys on this team bought in. Landry Shamet didn't even know if he was going to be on the team 16 days before the season started. Nobody knew Landry Shamet was even on the Knicks last year until the Eastern Conference Finals when he saw his first action because Tom Thibodeau didn't know how to manage his bench properly. And that brings us to the Tibbs firing. Tom Thibodeau was fired by Leon Rose in a move that many considered to be questionable. But I said it then, and I'll say it now for the people that didn't hear me back then a year ago. Tom Thibodeau, as much as I love him, thank you. Thank you, Tom Thibodeau, for bringing us back. Thank you, Tom Thibodeau, for putting us back on the map. But Tom Thibodeau is not a championship winner. He is a ceiling raiser and a culture builder. And that's what the Knicks needed at the time. They needed some sort of culture to be installed and instilled within a team that had no culture for over 2 decades. So Tibbs gets fired. Mike Brown gets hired in July of 2025 after Tibbs gets fired in June of 2025. Jordan Clarkson gets signed. Landry Shamet gets re-signed. Every single player had a role to play. They played it perfectly. There are no egos on this team. They just came to work every single day with the singular goal of winning a championship in mind. Jalen Brunson has now set the precedent for superstar players. He has proved to the entire world that if you take a pay cut and put faith in your organization to build a team around you Anything is possible. You can go win a championship, and if you are truly the star that you are, you will be able to take over a game and will your team single-handedly to that championship the way he did, dropping 45 points in Game 5. Jalen Brunson has proven himself time and time again while he continues to be doubted time and time again. And now, for the first time in his lifetime, people are finally singing his praises universally. People are finally seeing the player that Leon Rose and the rest of that Knicks staff saw back in 2022 when they gave him that original 4-year, $110 million contract. And he knew what it meant to the city because his dad was on the team in 1999. Brunson grew up in the Garden. He grew up in this city. He grew up around the culture. He knows the fact that basketball means everything to the people of New York. And I think Kenny Smith, as much as the Inside the NBA crew was ranking on him after the game, he captured the emotions of Knicks fans perfectly. Because he said while he may not be a Knick, he's from New York. And so he understands that every 5 blocks there is 94 feet of asphalt that people go, and it is a community spot so they could go play pickup basketball. Because there's not enough space for a football field. There's not enough space for a baseball field. Hell, there's not even close to enough space for a soccer field. But guess what? There's enough space for 94 feet of asphalt. There's enough space for 94 feet of cement to get laid down so people can go play and put up 2 hoops so they could go shoot the basketball, dribble it, pass it, learn the intangibles and the fundamentals of the game. Basketball is the heartbeat of New York City. And you see it. And I'm not trying to get too preachy here, but this is what it means. This is not to be understated. The city is the most unified that it's been since 9/11. New York City is the largest melting pot in the entire world, arguably. Different races, different religions, all coming together under the orange and blue. That's what the New York Knicks do to the city. That's what they do as a franchise and as a team. They unite the city, all 5 boroughs, because who cares about the Nets? They should still be in New Jersey. This was a historic run to the title by the Knicks. 16-3 overall, 9-0 on the road, and their 3 losses came by a combined 6 points. They had the best point differential in playoff history, plus 283. And they were doubted in every single round before the playoffs started. Oh, well, they're going to lose to the Hawks. They can easily lose to the Hawks. Okay, they go down 2-1, rattle off 3 straight. Next. Oh, well, the Sixers, they're the team to beat right now, man. They just came back from 3-1 against the Celtics. Swept them. Easy. Next. Oh, well, the Cavaliers, analytically, they're in a Game 9 right now. That's where the Cavaliers are, analytically. They're in a Game 9, which doesn't exist. You want to know why? Because they're in a Game 9 in Cancun. Becky Hammon, you said that Jalen Brunson wasn't 1A. Guess what? That 1A guy scored the 3rd most points in a closeout game in finals history. It goes Bob Pettit with 50. It goes Giannis with 50. And then it goes Jalen Brunson with 45 and Michael Jordan with 45. Put some respect on this guy's name. He's won at every single level that there is to win at. State champion in high school in New Jersey. 2-time NCAA champion at Villanova. NBA Cup champion, if we're going to count that, and now an NBA championship. He is a Hall of Famer now, without a doubt, and also, without a doubt, the greatest New York Knick of all time. It goes him, then Clyde. That's 1A, 1B. That's a 1A player. And I gave myself 24 hours to cool off because my mind yesterday was just racing. I did not have any thoughts other than I cannot believe this. Because for my entire life, it was forever next year. And now it's forever this year. Let's continue here with some numbers. Karl Anthony Towns, as I mentioned, had a 50-40-90 shooting split throughout the playoffs. Brunson has the most fourth quarter points in NBA history, and he has the most fourth quarter points averaged in NBA history as well. On top of that, the Knicks led for only 23.6% of this finals series, which is the fewest percentage leading since the 1971 season. I just don't know what to say because it is quite incredible what this team has accomplished, and it's all because of Leon Rose. And it's not like the Knicks played well. In Game 5, they were down by as much as 16. The New York Knicks were down by as much as 16 points. But guess what? Was I nervous? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say that I wasn't nervous. But did I lose faith? Absolutely not. Because this team time and time again has proven that they are able to win games and come back in games. All 4 of their games are comeback victories. All 4 of those wins in the finals were comeback victories. The Spurs lost all 4 of these games. Ready? In Game 1, the Spurs were up 65-51 with 6:19 remaining in the third quarter. In Game 2, the Spurs were up 37-25 with 11:22 left in the second quarter. Now that's a ton of time. Essentially, that's essentially 3 quarters. But still, the Spurs were up at least 10 points in all 5 games in the first quarter. Obviously, we all know about what happened in Game 4. The Knicks erased a 29-point deficit. And then in Game 5, the Knicks were down as much as 16, came back and won. So what are some of the key takeaways for me? First things first, every single role player will be getting a massive paycheck. Landry Shamet just made himself a ton of money throughout this postseason run, and while he cooled off towards the end of it, you can't understate what he did throughout the entirety of this playoffs. The Knicks would not be in this position without him. He is going to get paid this offseason, hopefully by the Knicks, because hopefully he can come back. Who knows if he'll have another, season like this, but he has done the work and he has done his due diligence to make sure that he gets paid this offseason. The next thing, I don't care if the Knicks win for the next 20 years. Like when you say that a championship is worth a lifetime and will last a lifetime, this is what you mean. So where do you go from here if you're a Knicks fan? And that's something that I asked myself. Obviously you're still a fan of the team. Like if you now jump off of the team, if you're now no longer a Knicks fan, what are you doing, man? We have finally reached the mountaintop. And it was a very emotional night too, because you start to think about all the people that aren't here to see it, all the people that were lost in 9/11, all of the people that, maybe it was a friend that might have passed away. For me, I know at least it was my grandfather who passed away 2 years ago, unfortunately, in August of 2024. And my grandmother as well, who passed away when I was 6. And I know that they are looking down right now, and they could just they're just beaming down from heaven right now, because it's just this is a time where you remember the people that aren't here to see this moment and share this moment with you. And it's a very happy time, but it can also be very sad at times. I don't know if he'd like me saying this, but man, my dad was crying and I was crying too. And I'm not afraid to say that, man, because, I think the one good thing that Wemby said throughout this entire season was that he won't let his emotions be a burden. And I feel the same way, man. I let it all out. I let it all out. I had to. Because you hold in so many feelings towards this team, whether it's happiness, anger, sadness, the anxiety that builds up during a championship run about, are we going to get this far and not be able to pull it off? And I felt that way so many times throughout this series because, as I mentioned, the Knicks were down in every single game that they won. The Knicks were down in every single game this series at one point because the Spurs were up 10 in at least in every single game. They were up 10 in every single first quarter. So it's a surreal feeling because it has been forever next year my entire life. And for the last 53 years, it's been forever next year. And now it's forever this year The Knicks are forever going to be known as the 2026 NBA champions. Nothing can ever take this away from us collectively as a fan base, because I think Bruce Beck put it into perspective perfectly, that the fans have been here. This is just the modern iteration of the Knicks. But the fans will always be here. And for the fans, this is just like my dad. He said that this reminds him of the Rangers championship in '94. The sentiment that many of the fans share as of right now, as far as the Knicks fans go, is they can die in peace. And that's how Rangers fans felt in '94 when that 50-year drought ended. I mean, it's weird to feel. It's just a sensation that you cannot describe. You let out all the emotions. You forget everything that happened in the past, and you live in the moment. And that's what I did. I tackled my dad to the ground. I did. I celebrated, man. I couldn't be happier. Like, this is hands down the greatest day of my sporting life, was when the Knicks won the championship on Saturday. And just to be able to experience it with the people that I experienced it with, this one will last a lifetime. It absolutely will. And that brings me to my final point that I want to make today. I will be down in New York City for the championship parade on Thursday. I will make sure to bring you all the content that you deserve. I will bring a live look. And when I say live look, I mean I'm going to record it for you guys and bring you the sights and sounds of an NBA championship parade in New York City. Something that has not been experienced in 53 years. And that will do it for this edition of the Barbs Breakdown. My name is Josh Barbara, and I'll see you next time.